Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're covering Season 4, Episode 16, the season finale, entitled A. Just A. Yeah, not the Fonzie A, just the letter A.
Not the Canadian A?
Should we talk about why it was called A right now?
I think we can save it for the cast.
This is the cast.
Save it for the appropriate time in the cast.
Okay, all right. So we talked a lot about what we thought of it. We both really thought it was good in the instant cast. My opinion has not wavered from that at all. In fact, I think it's better the second time around.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay. No additional comments.
It is... someone said it best, I think it was on Facebook, that this felt like, the sequel to the series that we should... I forget how they phrased it, but basically this feels like a late season episode of a show that I would have been a lot more engaged in. Like, and we were talking about this earlier today. You had seen something on Reddit where someone said that they felt like this episode is very dissimilar to other episodes. Mm-hmm. And I kind of felt the same way too.
I totally disagree.
Like the way this episode was crafted is on a superior level to anything I think we've seen this whole 4B.
I think you're right about the technical aspects of it. Yes, like the editing I think is much better. Just the storytelling makes a lot more sense in a lot of cases, but I think it's not a grand departure from the rest of the season because none of kind of the tricks that they've used have been different. I mean, they've done a lot of characterization throughout the season. That's what these flashbacks were all about for Rick.
Do you think, because we thought about talking about this, Kirkman did a interview on TheWalkingDead.com where he kind of talked about these things that Gimple is trying, like where they're doing overarching season arcs. And I think this is kind of like their crowning moment on that. It's like, oh, see, this is what we've been building to all season. I've got an opinion on that. What is your opinion?
My opinion is that is a fairly accurate assessment of the season as a whole, not the half season. I think the season as a whole has come around from Farmer Rick to the fate of the prison, and now to him kind of accepting both sides of the coin, both sides of his personality.
Yeah. It's really hard for me to put that in the context of the entire season because I really liked the first 5 episodes, going back to 4A.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it fell off a cliff with the governor storyline, and I know that's a polarizing. I'm not here to argue that.
Not on the cast, it's not.
For Aaron and Jim, we did not like the return of the governor and how they handled that and how they tried to make him more sympathetic. Then the season finale was pretty good. A lot of that was real cool, but a lot of that also was Rick character growth. Mm-hmm. We had some good moments with Carl and Rick and Michonne in this season. We had some really spectacular moments with Carol and Tyrese.
Yeah.
Glenn and Maggie is huge miss.
Oh, for me too. Yeah.
I don't know why, but Sasha and Bob, even though I didn't buy how they got there, when they finally got to, they're kind of like, will they, won't they? Mm-hmm. I was actually engaged by that. The season finale, I think, knocked it out of the park. So,
yeah,
if I was asking a follow-up or just making an observation of what Kirkman was talking about, I think I'm all for more character development and more, plot that isn't just of the episode and moving forward, but themes that you build and look back and like, I think they really need to work on making the whole thing engaging.
Yeah.
You can take an episode or two to catch your breath, but people still get antsy. I mean, you remember when we would cover Breaking Bad, there'd be always an episode or two in the middle where kind of things lulled and people would get antsy, and it was always just to set the pieces up for the next clusterfuck.
That's the thing. It's such a trick to keep everyone satisfied.
I get it.
Especially with a show like The Walking Dead, where a lot of people aren't in this for the same reasons that the rest of the viewers are.
But here's the thing. Keeping it interesting, I think, also involves, giving a shit at the script level, giving a shit at the director level, and Scott Gimple and Angela Kang gave a shit on this script, and Michelle MacLaren directed the holy hell out of it. Mm-hmm. Not just the action, which is she's kind of known for as like the the pinch hitter for action on Breaking Bad, on Game of Thrones, and lots of stuff. But she also just some of the quieter moments, which we're going to talk about.
We will.
I actually really wrote down a lot of things I liked in this episode because it's easy to say, "Oh, the direction's great." It's another thing to actually say, this is what this director is bringing to the table.
And these are the reasons that I enjoyed the direction in this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like, once you start paying attention to it, you kind of become that much closer to being a television snob.
A little bit.
It's like, when you try your first $20 bottle of wine. It's like, oh, God, a $3 chuck is shit. And then, it's like...
$3 chuck is a bad example because... It's like a $15 bottle of wine.
Okay. It's debatable.
But yes, the $5...
Or it's like, like we were just talking the other day.
Boone's Farm is pretty shitty.
I had a really strong preference for Coors Light.
Sure.
Up until about 5 years ago, and someone's like, you should try this craft brew stuff. And now having a strong preference over a light beer brand seems ridiculous to me. Mm-hmm. And so I've become that much closer to being a beer snob.
Sure.
It's like once you start paying attention to that, it takes your appreciation of things to a whole new level, but also becomes very hard to watch bad decisions.
It does, yeah. Watching bad TV gets harder and harder for me every year that we do these podcasts because we're so critical of them.
And that's the thing, like Walking Dead is not bad television.
No, not by a long shot.
But...
Go to the CW or the Sci-Fi Channel for bad television.
But when they have, like, let's say in the more average realm, and then... When you have a first-time director and they make some missteps and some inexperienced writers not really understanding the characters or what the actors are capable of, it becomes a much bigger problem.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think this season, aside from, a couple of episodes that have been obvious missteps, the governor arc, in my opinion, being completely a misstep, and then maybe an episode or two being obviously bad. Like episode number 2 in this half season was bad, in my opinion. We didn't mention Daryl and Beth when we were kind of recapping the storylines. That's one that I felt I liked, but I know a lot of people didn't like. And if you discount those episodes as good episodes, the half season gets a lot worse.
Yep.
So and that's kind of where those people are coming from, I think.
And I have a weird thing where, like, I kind of like that, but I also didn't really connect with the Carl and Rick material, which surprised me.
Wow.
Which means those episodes, instead of being solid hits, were kind of like, eh. So, I still think the strongest Walking Dead's ever been has been, like, the second half episode, or season 2 through the first half of season 3. Mm-hmm. And still, I'm waiting for them to put together 8 episodes better than that one. We'll see. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, back to back to back, that's hard. And I don't think they've done that consecutively. I think they have a very strong season in season 4 as a whole.
Okay.
Stronger than any single season previous. I give it a pass on season 1 because season 1 is so short.
Yeah.
It's like 6 episodes, 7 episodes.
Though,
it's not hard.
Like sometimes when I go back and we'll rewatch season 2, because I'm doing that a lot of late.
Yeah.
Working on phase 2 of my secret project. It's a lot more watchable than I remember it.
Okay, but we really hated Lori. That was the thing.
Well, it wasn't just Lori. Andrea shot Daryl. I mean, there's a lot of just like, what the fuck moments there. Yeah. So I would say a lot less of character portrayals.
Okay.
In season, there you go. A lot less character portrayals in season 4. Mm-hmm. Still a lot of puzzling, what the hell, kind of thing. Like, for example, last episode, we both agree with Glenn going through the tunnel.
Sure.
Horseshit start to finish.
Yeah. Terrible ideas on Glenn's part. Mm-hmm. The tunnel sequence. Yeah. Very bad. Let's get to the recap.
Yeah,
We've been talking for a long time.
Yeah. This feels like a season wrap up.
This episode, we will get to that at some point, I'm sure. So this episode starts off with a flashback, and we get a lot of those throughout the episode. Some people hated that. Some people loved it. I liked it. Rick and Maggie and Glenn are coming back from a run, apparently. And then we get a close-up of Bloody Rick in present day sitting by the car, and you can see kind of the difference between the two Ricks.
Yeah, the passion of the Grimes is what I call that look.
Yeah, just covered head to toe in blood.
They did a really good job of reshooting around the prison set that they destroyed.
Is that what they did?
Finale.
You don't think they shot this beforehand?
No. I read that on the net. They carefully constrained the camera angles. You see that a lot of the exterior shot, they shot low.
Yeah.
Which has the effect of making everyone look more heroic and badass, but also has the effect of
shooting the sky.
Mostly the sky and a little bit of fence. And they did a lot of tricks like that and extreme close-ups to hide the fact that, hey, the prison has been shot to shit.
Yeah.
And here's the first, so that was impressive. Also, compare like Andrew Lincoln's acting job in this cold open where he's just sitting there. We see close-up of hands covered in blood, beard soaked. Everything's just
shaking just a slight bit.
Shaking a slight bit. And how everything's just kind of caked and congealed in drying blood. And the way they had the extreme close-up on his hands, his eyes. These are things that Michelle MacLaren are doing to amplify his performance.
Sure. Yeah, because you could put it on a tripod and you could aim it at Rick Grimes
and just shoot, or you could have him
very uninteresting.
You could have him try to do more to convey what's going on in his character's head. But it's often more interesting to have them do less and then use the camera to bring out, especially the eyes.
Yeah, you can see
and the hands, the most expressive features of people's faces and their bodies.
And it really gets us interested in how the hell did he get to this point?
Yeah.
Like, why is he covered in blood?
Yeah.
So from a writing perspective, this is a very good opening scene, in my opinion.
Certainly. And I'm sure a lot of those shots are storyboarded and come from the writing department, but I think when you have a more experienced director, you know that they are going to take that material and not fuck it up. Like, I shudder to think what some of these action sequences would have been like in some of these first-time Power Ranger director hands. Honestly. So thank God we got a really, an all-star director that came kind of out of nowhere. So
yeah, another cool thing about this scene is while they're showing you his hands and his close-up of his face, they're not doing much with the audio either, and that really sells it and lets it play.
Yep.
I really appreciate not just the use of music, but the lack of music sometimes. So then Carl, Rick, and Michonne go out to check the snares together so Rick can kind of teach them how to set up a trap.
They're hungry.
They are very hungry throughout this whole episode, basically. And they talk about how they're going to... about getting closer to Terminus. I really like the amount of leaves that were falling in this scene. Did you notice? I mean, just leaf after leaf after leaf dropping down on their heads. Well, they shot this
stuff in, October and November of last year.
Sure.
So it makes sense. And they, I liked how that kind of setting, the little chill in the air kind of did a lot, I think, to set the mood and atmosphere.
Sure.
And also, again, just want to go back to the direction. Look at the use of establishing shots in this episode. Like, for example, them getting up from the campfire, going to check the rabbits, going down the trail. There was like 6 different establishing shots where the group got up. You had a quick cut of them walking to the left of the screen. They entered at extreme distance from the right of the screen, so you don't break. Think of like Legend of Zelda. You go at the left of the screen, you appear on the right.
Yeah.
It doesn't break your audience's sense of direction. Then they kind of establish that, and then they get the extreme close-up. The camera pans around. It's very subtle psychological cues that we've been taught to expect after watching 100 years of cinema.
Yeah, and it's fairly basic stuff, too, as far as film school goes.
If you don't do that, it really bothers you on a subconscious basis. And then when things start moving fast, it makes it extremely hard to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen bad examples of that in this series before. So it's nice to have a good one.
Yeah, just that kind of stuff like that just really grounds the scene. And I also like the choice of skipping the zombie kills. At this point in Walking Dead's history, it's not that interesting to see them square off against a lone zombie.
Sure.
And
well, they also do something more with this. When Rick and Carl are talking and he says, what are we going to do when we get to Terminus? He says, we're going to tell them who we are. And then Carl says, how do you say that? Who are we?
Yeah.
And he asks that question, and then we see Michonne, or then the walker comes out of the woods, and all of them immediately have their weapons up.
Yep.
I think that's very expressive of who they are.
Right.
So that serves multiple purposes there. That's the kind of stuff I like to see.
Yeah, but I just like the fact that, zombie killing is kind of boring. Get to the interesting stuff, which is the character development and seeing what this group is being molded and forged into in this episode.
And, I mean, in the next scene, you can show us an awesome face bite. Like, I'm okay with that. That part works for me, too. And that's when Rick tells Carl how to set up a proper snare, which is very important to this episode.
Got to funnel them down the trail to where the noose is set.
And then Carl hears somebody screaming, and he runs off to help him, but Rick stops him.
Yeah.
And that's where we get the awesome face bite of clearly someone who just lost his group because he never would have survived that long without them.
Actually, a fairly terribly staged shot.
Yeah.
Because the zombies have him fully encircled in a half circle. And he could have literally ran towards Rick anywhere in a 180-degree arc towards Rick and easily escaped these guys.
Yeah.
But he didn't, and at least they went for broke on the gore.
They did. That was incredible.
Tearing his skin away from that guy's orbital bone.
Yeah, and I think maybe a chunk of his eye, too. His eyeball. Oof.
It's again, if you're going to... But again, they had that one kind of splash shot, and then the people were running from the zombies, and we cut away to something else more interesting. Because, again, who gives a shit seeing them fight through another random pack of 3 or 4 zombies en route to freedom?
Sure. Yeah, you get one kill, and then it's a flashback to Herschel, waking Rick up for the first ever shift in the Walker Rotted Yard, right?
Yeah.
Seems like Herschel's about to take him out to the yard.
Yep. He's recruiting him as a farmer. Uncle Herschel needs you. And
we'll talk
a little bit. Farmer.
We'll talk a little bit more about what that all means and why it was in the episode.
And also introduces Beth Roll as a caregiver, which we kind of were dumped in the middle of last season. We see how all these things happen. He goes full on Yoda and says, "Your weapons need them, you will not." And,
yeah. Just get in the way, they will.
Yeah.
And then Michonne kills Walker on the road, and we find out that they are very hungry once again.
How do you like that disgusting road zombie?
Yeah, that road zombie was pretty good. I'm trying to deduce how it got there because it has half a leg and there's no flesh on it. How did that walker get to the road? Did he get run over in the road?
Yeah, I think he died on the road and then has been slowly stripped of. Maybe he got hit by a car, which means he couldn't walk.
Eaten by birds and animals,
and then so wolves come. I don't know about wolves, but wild dogs, coyotes. What's Georgia?
Okay.
Brown bear or black bear, probably.
Yeah, sure.
Cougars, tons of cougars in Atlanta here. It's just teeming.
I think so. So Rick tells Michonne. He talks with Michonne around the fire, and they kind of discuss that obviously they're hungry again, what it feels like to be on the road a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they have a real discussion about Terminus and whether it's legit. Mm-hmm. And I like Rick's perspective here because he says, we don't get to know until we know.
Yep.
That's the real danger of all of these situations. Even if they're great people that you approach, you just don't know until it's too late.
Well, I mean... Imagine what Tyrese's welcome was when they first came to the prison. And think about if that group was on a slightly worse day, what their reaction. Or what if they happened to come upon them right after, or, right before the governor attack, or in the middle of the governor attack. I mean, a lot of this stuff is timing.
Sure.
But yeah, I did like they're letting people in, but yeah, so did the governor. Just really hammering home that you don't know. You can't know.
Yeah. And so I think that is part of this synthesis of Rick in this episode is he needs to, yes, there are times when you can start to let down your guard a little bit, but it always has to be there. Otherwise, you'll fall into traps. So Joe's group finds Rick, and they hold him at gunpoint while Daryl tries to intervene.
A stupid question.
Yeah.
It's not literally New Year's Eve, is it?
I don't see how it could be.
Harsh Georgia winter being what it is, they do seem to be a little bit bundled up other than
But
Abraham.
There's too many leaves still on the trees, right?
Okay, good point.
I mean, after Christmas, there are bare trees everywhere.
I thought that was metaphorical about, but with his fucking weird and this is funny coming from me, I know.
Okay.
But with his weird folksy expressions and comparisons to everything, it's like, I was like, wait, is he being serious now?
Yeah. And I mean, Rick does have a pretty thick jacket on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a wool jacket, like bomber jacket.
Right.
So who knows? But Abraham still rocking the sleeveless shirt.
Oh, yeah. He's
in
got
the middle of autumn.
The OG wife beater on.
Yep.
Government issued wife beater.
So then Joe has his men beat Daryl while they attempt to rape Carl, but Rick doesn't like that so much, and he does what he's got to do. What do you want to say about this scene?
Were they still saying that Joe's group wasn't so bad on Reddit this week? That's what my first
yeah,
thought
I mean,
was.
I really can't tell how Reddit judges Joe at this point, but I don't think they still. You can't excuse the attempted rape of Carl. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
They didn't actually rape Carl, so maybe they're not so bad. No, fuck you. They were bad from the very beginning.
another thing, a lot of people, I could just judge from feedback, which I'm not going to read, were questioning. I think people got confused in a dialogue later with Daryl. But Daryl didn't know that they were hunting Rick until he walked into that clearing at this point and saw them.
Yeah.
Because people are like, you'd think if he knew, because the way he kind of has a little bit of a mush mouth and a little bit of whisper, and if you're not listening extremely close, you could get the impression that he spotted Rick like a day ago when they first laid eyes on him and knew that they were hunting. And they're like, that's the best you could come up with in a day of rehearsal is these are good people.
Uh-huh.
So it as soon as he came out, it's like, oh shit, I got to think on my feet. And also, if you take Daryl at his word, he didn't know that these were bad men. He thought maybe they were bad men like himself, or at worst his brother.
Yeah.
Although, man, where's Merle's line? I never felt like I had a good handle on that.
Merle's line? You mean?
Yeah, like where? I don't think he would like rape Carl.
Sure.
But I don't think he'd be above raping anybody else or murdering or doing whatever.
Sure. I think Merle was roughly as bad as these guys, honestly.
And then you do shake and bake meth Merle, and it's on a whole other level of what the fuck. You know? Yeah. So, again, it's kind of hard for me to believe that Daryl didn't see some of this stuff coming.
Yeah. From what they had showed him, and he says this later when he's sitting down at the car with Rick, he says they had a code. It was stupid, but it was something.
Yeah.
And maybe he feels like that was enough to keep him with this group until he found something better.
Yeah.
And he says even in this scene, he was about to take off, right? Like he had heard they were searching for this guy for a day, and they'd spotted him. He was about to take off because he didn't want any part in that. But then he saw it was Rick. It's
funny because I got to give kudos to AMC for allowing this scene to be filmed because it was a very powerful scene. And say what you will about The Walking Dead, I'm at the point where it would not surprise me if anyone died.
Okay.
It would be shocking for Rick to die or for Carl to die or Michonne to die, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility enough that in scenes like this, I don't think that, oh shit, Daryl might die here.
Sure.
And that might provide the distraction needed for Rick to do. I didn't see, Rick. And also for letting them, like, that scene where he tears this dude's throat out.
Yeah.
And then slow motion sprays it out with the blood. It's savage.
Yeah, it's Survivor Kill of the Week.
It's something out of, like, I think the most violent show on television right now is, like, Boardwalk Empire.
Huh. Okay, I haven't seen new seasons of that.
In a realistic kind of, like, I mean, Banshee's pretty violent, and there's stuff like that. Walking Dead's got the fucking fake blood splatter, but things get just medieval in Boardwalk on a regular basis, and this is as real as any of that stuff, man.
Sure. And I mean, when he guts this guy like a fish.
Oh my God. Starts at the belly button, works his way up to the heart, and then
I counted them 17 stabs after
you counted the stabs,
gutting.
You sick fuck.
I counted the stabs.
My God.
The world wanted to know, man.
They punched Carl.
They punched him. Oh, okay.
No, man, seriously, like, a grown-ass man striking a child.
They shot a girl last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 episodes ago, whatever.
Yeah, but it was Liz. No.
Okay.
I'm saying
I'm
like
behind that.
I'm saying like they close up punched a kid. There's a guy on top of him holding him down. It was really tense and uncomfortable.
Oh, certainly.
In the Bald Cave watching this.
And I'm glad they went there because we knew that they had done that in the comic. And that was going to be something that we weren't sure if they would attempt.
Yeah, and Joe severely underestimates Rick and his ability to withstand a point-blank gunshot to his ear.
Yeah, come on.
And that was
his eardrums
coming to him.
His eardrums are all scar tissue at this point.
His eardrums are calloused like a mechanic's thumb.
Yeah, certainly.
That's taking a 9mm shot or whatever the hell that's like mother's milk for him.
He has fired his python inside a tank a foot from his face. He's not afraid of that.
No, hell no. So yeah, it's that I guess, and here's where I guess the theme of the episode, we're seeing him finally synthesize the wisdom of Herschel, which is basically, come on, don't be a warrior, you can be a farmer now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how we got there though. Is it just Rick trusting that he knows when to flip the switch?
Certainly, I think so. I mean, because he says in those flashbacks, like, "I'm going to be a farmer for now. Like, this is what we need to be for now." And Herschel taught him that. I mean, along the way, he has just seen the bad things that have happened because he was too much like a farmer, and the bad things that have happened because he wasn't enough like a farmer.
Right.
And I think he's finally realizing there is a line that I can tiptoe across here.
Right.
And that I need to. That's the most important thing. He has to be that to protect Carl.
Right.
Both physically protect Carl and emotionally protect Carl, because we can see throughout this episode what Carl is becoming and how Rick is struggling trying to keep him from just becoming one of Joe's group, essentially.
And they also made a really cool choice right before the commercial break while Rick is doing his, ice picking as we all count along. Like, a wrestler slamming some dude's head into a turnbuckle. 1, 2, 3. They just do, and this is kind of like a McLaren trademark, but she does this really dynamic, tight zoom in on Carl's face as this is going on, while Michonne is cradling, and she's very maternal.
The reaction shot.
Yeah, and that is, for me, a lot more powerful than if we were just seeing Rick continue to gut this guy.
Me too.
Because once he slid him from dick to throat,
yeah,
that's as bad as it gets, right? The other stuff was just him hulking out.
Sure, and you want to see what this scene is doing to Carl.
Yeah,
because that's an important part of this episode.
Yeah,
and I really love the shot where he is gutting him, and they're showing Carl's face in focus and the knife going up out of focus. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought they could have done better is with Daryl and Joe's group. I feel like that hadn't played out its welcome yet because he hadn't really seen what kind of guys they were, but I wanted him to kind of fall in with that group a little bit more before he saw that. Because he was still not very much integrated into the group, in my opinion.
It does feel, in retrospect, kind of like a missed opportunity or purely getting Daryl to point A to point B.
Yeah. It felt like they touched on it, but they never fully committed to it.
Right.
So, flashback to when Herschel told Rick that he needs to be a farmer, not a runner. Not going on runs all the time. And here's where he says, I teach you how to do this, and you teach Carl, which, he's demonstrating this episode, teaching Carl and Michonne how to trap.
You said Herschel and Rick, but I saw the ghost of Frank Darabont talking to Scott Gimple.
Okay.
We can make this show better, Scott. It doesn't have to be this way.
All right.
What path are you... No, I think that, I don't know. Herschel harping on Carl still shooting that kid. I still have mixed feelings about... Again, what lesson I'm supposed to take from that, because Carl's largely been vindicated. Their life as a farmer was a foolish. It was a foolish hope.
Yeah.
And we saw him being, I want to walk back a little bit of what I said last week about how I'm not sure how I feel about Michonne and his relationship. because there was some really powerful scenes of kind of her comforting him and her letting her maternal side show, which then paid off in a really emotionally devastating moment between her and him when she was trying to kind of help him see his father in a new light towards the end. I kind of lost where I was going with this, man.
Well, I think it's really the episode is all about the balance between the two, and I think Herschel's statement here is not necessarily that you don't want Carl to be a shooter at all. I think it's more along the lines of Carl is a shooter. Now teach him to be something else.
I see.
Because he says he can shoot, we know that.
And also Rick being eternally vigilant doesn't have that balance. It's like show him that you can still be tough and the protector, but you also don't have to. This isn't all what life is about.
Sure.
And
if it is, you end up like Joe's group, right?
Yeah,
that's exactly what he's trying to avoid.
That's a good point, because that way, kind of, when
you fall into what you know.
When you fight monsters, you got to be careful not to become one, as they say.
Very true. After the Joe attack, Carl's sleeping, and Daryl is telling Rick how he came to be with Joe's group, and Rick tells Daryl he's his brother. There's a definite, solid bond between these guys now. And I don't think in this scene that Rick ever thought that Daryl was really with that group.
Not with
that group. Yeah.
Not with him that way. What did you think about the fairly quick dismissal of the Beth storyline?
It was rather quick, yeah. She's gone.
I mean, not as Rick isn't as dismissive as, say, Maggie is.
Sure.
But still, it's like, yeah, I was with her, and then she's gone, and Rick's like, well, moving on. Good enough for me.
Yeah.
No more doodlebug.
The other thing, Daryl's hair just keeps getting more and more ridiculous, right? I mean, if Daryl wasn't as cool and as badass as he is, would we be comparing his hair to Eugene at some point? Because it's pretty bad.
No, it's never going to be that
It's
bad.
not that bad, I agree, but
if he shaves
it's bad.
If he goes, business up front, then we might have to revisit that. But
I'm surprised he doesn't, because with all that hair in his eyes, I don't know how he's a badass.
What did you think about when Daryl's trying? Because it seemed like everyone's trying to downplay that this isn't Rick, and Rick's like, he even has this kind of like rueful smile on his face. He's like, "No, it's all me.
Yeah.
It's not, the whole me, but that's part of me, and I feel like this part of the group, Herschel was too good to live in this world. He had a little bit he had a little bit too much of the Dale problem, but the guys that he has with them, and they do a lot of this by showing, not telling, but the people that he has now left are the exact same sort of people. They don't need, there's not a single person when he later when he guts this guy that's like, I can't believe you did that, that's sick, what kind of monster, we don't have a Lori Grimes questioning what this means, who's she married to now, we don't have a Dale, we don't have a Scott,
we don't have a Shane either.
We don't have
which is another important point, because that's the opposite side of the coin,
right? That's more towards the governor side, but we don't. Yeah. We've boiled this down to a group of decent people who are also survivors.
Yeah.
And I would like to see them work a little bit on exactly what their ethics and morality are.
Sure.
Like, when does it become okay to strangle someone and leave them for dead just because these guys look like they're in the roughhousing? Like,
they touched on that a little bit when they found with that kid who they took back to the 8 miles out or 18 miles out, whatever it was.
Right.
Torturing him was a little bit of a hot button issue in the group.
But there again, I don't know. It seems like they need to start coming up with some, like Daryl said, a code of some sort.
Sure.
Like, why are we different?
Yeah.
I mean, we see why they're different.
And what are the values that help them actually survive in this world?
Right.
Like, it's not all gunplay. That's not it. Otherwise, Shane would still be alive. Otherwise, the governor would still be alive. It's not just force. It's also something else.
Right.
That I think Rick now understands a lot better.
But I just like the fact that nobody's shit is torn up about what they have to do now when it's about survival.
For sure. At least in this group, I wonder if there's a little more of that going
coming
around.
into balance at the same time. Like, think of, Daryl's come into balance. He opened himself up to Beth, and, he's calling Rick brother now. Michonne, my God, has become a real living, breathing, vibrant character.
Yeah.
Carl, everybody seems to be. The only ones that still are a little off in Crazy Town are Glenn and Maggie. Maybe it's just hormones, but
yeah, I don't know. Well, I hope we see a little bit, a little more subtle approach with them next season. We'll see. So Rick and company find a Terminus sign, and they go through the woods so that they can find out who they are before they're spotted.
This is all by itself reason to say this is the best episode of the season. They actually did something very smart.
What if they would have gone through a dark tunnel to get there?
Well, they avoided that fucking tunnel by going off the beaten path.
Yeah, they did.
It's remarkable that nobody else did that, but I guess it might be, if I'm being generous, a narrative point that, I feel like this evolution we should have seen at least a season ago.
Yeah.
But we're seeing it, and, hopefully this is the end of the wishy-washy, crap going forward. Sure. I really sincerely hope it is.
Yeah, the trouble is, so I get that Rick, as a sheriff, would understand some of these entry tactics, right?
No, as a man that survived
That's what I'm saying. Whereas the rest of these people should just have picked them up along the way.
Yes, exactly.
It's 2 years now after the zombie apocalypse started.
Yep.
Yeah. So then Michonne asks Carl why he didn't go with his dad, which prompts a conversation about a few things. How Andre died. Her son, yeah. How she found out that the pets kept her hidden, which is something we had been wondering about for a long time. And what kind of person Carl actually is.
Right.
A lot of good stuff in this scene. The Michonne story alone, we understand why she carried these pets around as a reminder that she should have kept these people safe. And as punishment for herself.
Yeah, it was kind of
not doing that.
And it was an accidental, discovery. I also this scene was very emotionally moving to me, and I don't know why other than Denai just knocked it out of the park with her performance.
She did.
I mean, the dialogue was moving, and anytime you're talking about losing a baby boy or baby girl, and feeling betrayal, and then also that anger and betrayal you to transfer to yourself, and how she literally became another monster, which we saw that when one of the stronger moments of the Carl, Rick, Michonne episode, I think it was episode 3. Or no, it was the first one when they came back. And she was walking with the zombies again. And she's kind of going back to that mode. And she just she freaked out about it.
She had that dream.
Yeah. This is putting a lot of this into context and making that stuff that was already strong even stronger. And then you see the fact, how far she's come in that journey and how Andrea helped her, Rick helped her. And then I think what really got to me is when she said, "And you saved me," to Carl. It's just really great.
Sure.
Now, it turns out, though, that Carl's not really afraid of Rick.
He's afraid of Rick finding out, I think, what he is. What kind of person he is.
But that's one thing that still doesn't make sense to me after seeing what his dad did. Unless this is showing that maybe Carl to this day feels like, maybe his old man doesn't go far enough.
See, I thought it was the opposite. I thought Carl felt like he should be more of a farmer, and he isn't. Because his dad has been trying to instill these values in him. Like the flashback we see with Rick telling Carl to leave his gun, it'll just get in the way.
Well, yeah, but
these are lessons that he's trying to pass down, but Carl isn't that kind of man.
Yeah, but when he says that I'm a monster too, like I said, I just don't understand unless he thinks that he should be full-time gun crazy. I don't know.
I feel like that's what he sees himself as, and maybe what he is, but his dad's trying to instill different values in him.
And it'll be interesting to see, because Rick seems to be, pretty well fused at this point, and Daryl and Michonne. It'll be interesting to see what further development we have for Carl moving on.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really good progression for them, because Rick has kind of come to understand the lessons that maybe Carl hasn't yet. And even though Rick is trying to teach him, he's just not equipped to understand those things quite yet.
Yeah.
So we may see a re-evolution of a Grimes here.
Yeah,
in Carl.
So what is he, like 13, 14?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, you always got to remember that.
Sure, definitely. So Rick starts another gun farm before they go into Terminus.
Yeah, Gun Farm 2.0.
Yep. And he really eyes that Python for a while before he puts it in there.
It's
in the bag.
Lucille.
I'm wondering if that's not foreshadowing for how they're going to get out of their
No,
current
actually,
situation.
his pet python is Petunia. I just remembered.
Petunia, yes. I think that might be foreshadowing, right? Like, because we know Carol and Tyrese are still out there. Maybe they hit Terminus because that's where they're headed, and they make it in. They sneak in. They hear Rick or somebody screaming, and they're able to contact them and bring those weapons in.
Oh,
that might be interesting.
This is not informed spoiler speculation.
Okay.
I think this group's just going to fucking bust out.
Yeah. Okay. They could do that too.
Like, when Rick says that these, later on in the episode, they mess around with people, I think they're going to somehow MacGyver their way out of this situation.
Sure.
And then go back. I mean, there was a ton of guns in that bag.
Yeah.
5.6 rifles, a bunch of the only thing is Terminus did seem very well armed.
Oh, yeah.
Much better than they did last time. And, as I said, when we were talking about the kind of bullshit and how Terminus looks stupid, I even said, we could find out next episode they got snipers on the roofs and everything.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened, because this is nothing but a funnel, a snare.
Snare. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right.
If you haven't figured out the big secret, I'm gonna go along with the charade.
Wait, what?
But
the rabbit is Rick? Are you saying that?
But yeah, I mean, it's bad news here.
Yeah,
we'll point out some things. If you're still not on the secret, we'll point out some things you might have missed in the episode.
Okay. So once inside, they meet Gareth and the lady who's reading the radio message. They can't get a tape recorder for this thing?
Well,
she's got to sit there 24/7 spouting the same thing.
She used to work for the local NPR affiliate.
Oh god. Her voice would be much more dull, much more. I like NPR.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan too. That's why I can make fun of it. But yeah, I don't know. You were really bothered by that. I was like, I don't know.
So there's a moment here where they're inspecting their weapons. They haven't put them down on the ground. They look at them all. And then he assigns Alex to kind of show them around. They look at Carl, and they see his beat-up face, and they say something about, did they deserve it? And Carl's like, yes, they absolutely deserved it. And I agree, they deserved it. But Rick kind of looks over at Carl and is a little surprised by his reaction to it, or I guess his enthusiasm for them deserving.
I did not pick up on that.
It was just like a little look of concern that maybe he was too gung-ho about killing these guys. I don't know. Anyway, so they're making maps to Terminus, we can see.
Yep.
I'm sure that's probably a detailed process. You got to plan, okay, where are we going to put these? Along which road?
You are here.
How far? Yeah, you got to have the you are here. And
you have to have the skills of a urban shopping mall planner.
Exactly. You're highly trained, I'm sure.
I think that crap. Now I've lost my point again. Go ahead.
What's her face? Okay.
Someone on Facebook, I forget what they said, but they said that when they busted in the back door, it looked like they invaded a tech startup, which I thought was super funny, even down to the guy whose name was Gareth coming forward and meeting them all. Yep.
The lady who is reading the radio message is also looking at a map. Probably one of the ones that they made. I'm like, is she quality control? Is that what's going on?
I mean, their quality is impeccable. I mean, you go to the App Store on iTunes or Android and go search for Terminus, and their apocalyptic mapping, so it's like 5 stars, man, across the board.
Apocalypse map. It's the newest hot app. So while Alex is showing them around, Rick spots some of the equipment that they had before and Glenn's pocket watch, and he decides he's going to take this guy hostage, Alex.
Yep. And
good spotting, Rick.
Good spotting, and I love the fact that everyone backs this play instantly.
Sure.
Like, think of Andrea, like with the governor, how she's like, what are you guys? If they're certain people still in this group, a Dale or a Lori,
Yeah.
a Herschel, they would have been freaking out about how are you impugning on our guest hospitality, and why are you acting so crazy, and my God, put your guns down. None of that shit.
No.
It's like Rick pulled and everybody instantly swung into action.
Yeah. And we see that throughout the episode. When a walker comes up, everybody's got their weapons out.
Ready.
They know what to do.
And now they know what time it is when it comes to the living, too.
And that's really
But I'm surprised
Daryl's the point of how badass they are.
Daryl wasn't like, hey, you got my poncho. I mean, as soon as he walked in.
Yeah, that's my fucking poncho.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? You got my poncho. Motherfucker.
Bullshit.
I'm going to beat that poncho out of you.
Yeah, so I really like that they made Rick smart enough to know this is our stuff.
Yep.
And apparently, I guess one of the umbrellas behind Mary was one of the umbrellas at the governor's little camp.
Yeah,
when he
was
met Tara and everybody.
And,
yeah.
What's his face? Martinez.
I don't know if that's
I got to
just
do it one more time. One more butchering of a name.
I don't know if that's just recycling props or if that was like a little Easter egg thing or what, but
it
was
both.
interesting.
But I also don't think the Gimple was like, grab that umbrella and put it behind me. Yeah.
No. So we get a flashback again to Patrick building Lego sets while Carl is stripping his gun and cleaning it. And Rick tells him to leave gun behind because they're going to farm.
Such a nice camera move where we follow Rick's transition from crouching down to Patrick to walking over off frame as it pans and loses the focus on Patrick and then puts the focus on Carl, and he's field stripping a gun and using a child's coloring book as a gun mat. It's such a great scene.
It says so much about Carl without a single word.
Yeah, it's way more than him jumping the gun slightly on killing a Woodbury tough.
Sure, yeah.
Some poor asthmatic kid.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more artful.
Yeah. Then we go back to the standoff at Terminus, and Gareth calls for a shot with his little hand gesture there. Rick spots it and spins the guy around and blocks it, and then they chase Rick and company through a maze.
And Gareth already is smarter than the governor, because the governor would try to bullshit him out of the situation, but I love how Gareth is fairly smart for a TV villain. Mm-hmm. He's like, what's there to talk about anymore? You don't trust us.
Sure. Yeah, the trust is not going to be won back by my speech here.
Yep. So let's just go ahead and do this.
So this was weird to me because Gareth definitely calls for a sniper shot or some kind of shot here to take Rick out, but yet they then don't want to take Rick out. So they're unwilling to kill them after the fact.
I thought that was deliberately targeted on Alex.
You thought they were going to take out their own guy?
I know that's exactly what happened.
But only because Rick spun him around and shot
I think
him.
the sniper took the shot. You think someone from behind? There's no fucking way he spun.
It doesn't matter who took the shot. It came from behind.
You're right. Well, maybe the plan was to kill...
And Rick spun him around.
Was to kill Rick and then
just
hurt
kill Rick and
else.
hurt the rest, yeah.
Or the plan was to take Alex out of the equation so they could then take care of the rest. You're right. That doesn't make much sense given what we see of their creed.
I don't know. I mean, maybe Rick was the ultimate threat there because he had a hostage, and let's just get rid of the hostage, and then we've got the power.
Yeah, honestly, this is kind of the worst part of the episode.
The chase?
The chase, because it went on entirely too long with too many locations, and I felt like they didn't trust us to know that they were being herded. Like, in fact, at one point, they're like, they're not even shooting at us. They're just shooting at our feet. It's like, well, no shit. We saw that for 30 seconds.
The first time we saw it, I tweeted on... I sent out a tweet that said, these guys are the worst snipers ever. And then it went on for 30 seconds, and everybody was like, well, they're hurting them. And I was like, yeah, well, I get that now, because they've shown it for a minute and a half.
Right. No, you're just that stupid, Jim. Jesus.
God damn it. I certainly looked that way on Twitter.
I also think the other thing that didn't help was just the kind of terrible special effects work on the actual bullet impacts.
Oh, just little splashes of dust.
And the light, it just wasn't working for me. I thought, again, they didn't have to... You didn't have to spray their feet 50 bullets on each shot. Like, just maybe a shot or two to keep them moving in the one direction. Because it was just so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just wanted to shower down bullets so they couldn't go Yeah, I don't know. This was definitely the weakest part of the episode, in my opinion. Just the chase, but where they went to, they find this chamber that we had to freeze frame and take a look at.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then after they leave the chamber, they get surrounded outside. Do we want to talk about the chamber a little bit? The things you noticed in there?
Let's talk about a couple things. First, before they got to the chamber, you pass a very easy to miss scene of just a massive pile of human skeletons.
Yeah, human skeletons.
With very little meat on their bones. They've been excarnated.
Yeah, pretty disturbing. Like, during the episode, I tweeted, they ran past a pile of bones. Oh, God.
You ran past some cargo containers that had people screaming for help and banging from within, like, please help us, help us. And Rick even stopped and kind of did a double take before another hail of bullets herded him into the direction they need to go.
Yep.
Then we get to the shrine. We got to Terminus's version of Carcosa.
Okay, let's not talk too much about the shrine yet, because I want to talk about the path they're on.
Okay.
The bride's path, as you would call it, probably.
The bride's path?
Every door they come to in this chamber, the train car that they eventually